Pokemon Unite. If you're like me and millions of other users that have downloaded this either on Switch or on mobile, when you started up the game for the first time, you were taken to a screen that looks a lot like this. This is the in-game tutorial, the step-by-step process that is supposed to teach you the basic fundamentals of how to play the game, such as how to move, how to use your basic attacks, how to use your abilities, and so on and so forth. But does this tutorial really teach you everything that you need to know before you step foot on a battlefield? No. The answer is no, it does not. Not even close. No, I'm not going to sit here and say that the tutorial doesn't teach you anything, but the tutorial for Pokemon Unite is notoriously bare bones, and there are so many things that should be basic knowledge that they fail to teach you. But that's where I come in. I'm Solo, and this is the tutorial you should have gotten when you first logged into Pokemon Unite. Alright, I am going to mention for ease of use that I am a Switch player, so most of the things that I'm going to be speaking about are going to be on the controller. I will give knowledge about the mobile controls where I can. So right out of the gate, the game does teach you how to move around. Obviously with the left stick, you're going to be able to move in any direction that you so choose. Obviously we're going to take our first move here and our first ability. The first thing that the tutorial does not teach you is that you can move your camera. On the controller for the Switch, if you hold down the L button and move your right stick in any direction, you can pan your camera around the map. This is incredibly important and something that I'm very shocked that the game never teaches you. This is so valuable in gathering information about objectives, about your teammates, and looking ahead to see what type of team fight you're going to get into. See, now we can see that Bulbasaur is scoring 11 points on our goal, and we know that we need to go defend it. Also, from time to time in these tutorials, I am going to pop over to the settings option over here and show you anything relevant to what I'm teaching you. Right now, within regards to panning the camera, we have the camera sensitivity. Now this is how fast or slow your camera will be moving as you're panning it. Now this is completely up to personal preference. You want the camera to be able to pan fast enough so that you can gather information in a timely fashion, but not so fast that you feel like the camera's out of control and you can't do anything with it. So the next thing that the tutorial does is teach you how to basic attack. Now for almost every Pokemon, this is the attack that you are going to be using the most. This is how you continue to do damage and how you chip away at farm and at enemies. But one thing that they don't teach you is the difference between attacking farm and attacking enemies. So what you're going to want to do is come over to the settings option and make sure that you have advanced controls on. What that does is that if you press the A button, you will now basic attack enemies. But if you press the B button, you'll basic attack wild Pokemon. This is very important to understand the difference here, because in the middle of a objective fight where it is very important to get the last hit, you need to have some kind of control over what you're hitting. Now let's discuss abilities. When you first start out the game, you get to take one of two abilities, which are either going to be your R ability or your ZR ability. And when you get to level 3 or level 2, depending on your character, you will get your second ability. For Pikachu, it is Thunder Shock and Electro Web. Ooh, let's quickly make our opponent invincible so we don't accidentally kill him while I'm trying to explain things. But as you level up, you are going to gain new abilities. Right now I'll take Electro Ball, which will do more damage. And as you level up even more, you'll get another new ability. which can do a variety of things as well. Now, in order to cast these abilities, you're going to hold down either the R or the ZR button. Here, I'll hold down the R button. You'll get your circle, your range, and you just aim with the right stick in any direction that you want to fire it. For Electro Ball, it is a sure hit move, so if I'm not aiming at a target, it will not let me hit them. It will not let me cast it, sorry. So I have to aim. You'll see that Bulbasaur lights up when I have it targeted. Throw an Electro Ball at it. With that, then they go on cooldown. You wait for your abilities to come back up, and then you can fire them again. Also, one kind of infuriating thing that I should bring up is that if you do not aim your move, if you just hit the R button, say, your moves will always target an enemy. It does not matter how low the health is on the farm. I could be attacking this Bunnelby continuously and getting ready to finish it off with an Electro Ball, but if Bulbasaur is in range and I do not aim my move, it will always fire at Bulbasaur. So when trying to take out farm and last hit farm, make sure you aim. And now for your most powerful ability, your Unite move. When used properly, your Unite move can completely turn the tide of a team fight and push it in your favor. The Unite move is the ZL button. It'll show you your range just like your ability. And when you let go, you will cast your Unite move. Now after that, it goes on cooldown just like your abilities, but it charges at a very, very slow rate. Now, what that means... Oh, Bulbasaur just evolved. What that means is that you have to wait until that gets all the way back to 100% before you can cast that again. But there are ways to make that go faster. So what we're gonna do, practice, is we'll turn on some wild Pokemon. Now, KOing a wild Pokemon will cause your Unite move to charge faster. And scoring points will also cause it to charge faster. Now, the fun thing is, it doesn't matter if you have 1 point, 5 points, 20 points, 50 points. It doesn't matter. You will always get the same amount of Unite charge. And then once it is completely filled, you can cast it again. Alright, last but not least, we need to discuss Eos Energy and Experience. Now, I'm going to be discussing these two things kind of hand in hand because they kind of bounce off of each other. Now, you'll see these little values above the heads of each of the wild Pokemon. These ones are 5. There's one in the middle for the Baltoy is 2. These are the representation of how much Eos energy these wild Pokemon have. So if I take out a Bunnelby, I will get 5 Eos energy. Now, it is no secret that in order to win in Pokemon Unite, you have to score more points than the other team. What the game doesn't explain to you is that when you're taking out these wild Pokemon, that you also gain experiences, which is how you gain levels. Having a level lead over your opponents is just as important as scoring points. And as a general rule of thumb, the higher the Eos energy value is on a wild Pokemon, the more experience that you will gain from KOing that Pokemon. Now, you gain experience a couple of different ways: taking out wild Pokemon, taking out enemies, and scoring goals. All 3 of these things will net you experience, which will push your levels higher and higher. Alright, so I'm going to briefly discuss overcapping. What that means is that if you have a situation like this, where you have 50 points, and a goal only has 1 point left on it, you want to still score those 50 points. It's not just going to take 1 point away and break the goal. It will still allow you to score all 50 of those points. essentially allowing you to score more points on a forward goal. Being able to overcap on goals like this can definitely put you in a very favorable position come near the end game. And as far as any settings go for scoring, the only one that really matters is the scoring controls. You can either choose to hold down the button while you score, or just press the button and it'll automatically start to go through the score animation for you. This is all personal preference. I just prefer the press button so that I only have to press it once. I find that it's easier because then you don't have to worry about accidentally having your fingers slip off so that you don't interrupt your own score. So lastly, I would like to discuss something called being Evo locked. Now, when you have a Pokemon like Charmander that needs to evolve into Charmeleon at level 5, you will not be able to do so unless you manually get there. And what I mean by that is you have to take farm or KO an enemy. You cannot just let your passive experience build up and have you switch over to Charmeleon. It will not happen. If I were to just stay like this at level 4 and walk around the map and never hit another thing the entire time I was on the map, I would be a Charmander at the end of the fight, at the end of the match. And while Charmander is absolutely adorable, that is not the overall goal here. So, in order to evolve, you need to make sure you're getting your farm and evolving so that you can hit your next power spike. And that about wraps it up for the basics. Hey, thanks for sticking around. I hope you learned something today. If you could just do me a favor and like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, it would do wonders for me. It would help me get my tutorials out to more people. And if you want to stay up to date for the next tutorial, just make sure you click the bell for notifications. Thank you guys so much for sticking around again, and I will see you next time. Later.